Okay, before we get started with our first shortcut in our Second Brain series, let's go ahead and open our Notes application and make sure that we have a folder for all of our Second Brain notes. So I made this folder called EDC Second Brain. You can call yours anything you want. Just remember it because we're going to be using it in our shortcuts. Okay, so let's open our Shortcuts app, and I always like to start with a comment so I can keep track of what these things do. Now, if you're doing this on your phone instead of an iPad, this little action window will be at the bottom rather than on the side, but otherwise it's pretty much the same. It's just that this provides a bigger display on our video, so hopefully it's a little easier to see. So the comment says, this shortcut creates a note in a specific notes folder. Make sure you make that notes folder first in your notes application, and remember the names since we'll be referring to it in our shortcuts. So that's what we just did in our notes application. And then I always like to put the build number of iOS that we're on when we make the note, just in case there's any changes in future builds. Okay, so I always like to dismiss Siri first. Now what this action does is as soon as this shortcut starts, if it was called from Siri by saying, hey Siri, text entry demo, then we want to dismiss Siri going forward so that it frees up the microphone. Okay, so the next thing we do is we ask for input. That's this shortcut right here. Now something handy, if you click on this little information icon, it will tell you what that action does. So it displays a dialog prompting the user to enter a piece of information. And you can see that this undo favorite is here, and that's because I've already added it to my favorites list. Okay, so I just dragged that over here and dropped it in. Of course, we're not going to do that now since it's already there. So we can also get the information from here, which is handy. And this little icon also lets us do things like duplicate and copy this action. I've tapped my little circle with the arrow in it, my little options window, to make sure that we've allowed multiple lines. Now once we've asked for text, let's create a note. And we create that note with the provided input. And if I just tap and hold on here, I would see what options I have. So where do we put that note when we create it? We put it in our Second Brain folder. And I'll tap on that and we'll see it gives us a list of our Apple Notes folders, and there's the Second Brain folder that we made. So let's check these options. We want to make sure Open When Run is off. Now I added a comment here, and that says this is where the keyword helper goes. So in a future video in this series, we'll talk about search tools. And one of those search tools is going to be a little helper shortcut that we can actually run using this run shortcut command. And that run shortcut command would go right in there when we're ready to do it. And that shortcut will actually give us a list of keywords that we can then append to our note. But for now, let's just show our folder, which is our Second Brain folder, and then open our note. And we'll tap and hold here, and we see that it gives us the options, and we've chosen note. Then stop the shortcut. So let's go ahead and run this real quick. We can do that by clicking this little arrow up here. There we are. That's our prompt. Enter note. First line is the title of the note. So I'm just going to use the microphone to enter the note. Now with a new line or a carriage return, we're entering the body of the note. And we'll see that when it opens the note. So there we are. This is our first note in the Second Brain series, and here's the body of the note. Okay, so far so good. Let's go ahead and build a dictation shortcut next.